And at number 10, we've got Gotham by Gaslight. So this steampunk Elseworlds version of Batman is pretty cool on its own, taking place in 1889 and featuring Jack the Ripper. But the Joker makes an appearance in it as a serial killer whose MO was marrying and poisoning women. He tries to commit suicide by taking the poison himself, but it instead leaves him with a permanent grin. While this isn't the most prominent alternate Joker appearance on the list, we had to include it, mainly because the prospect of an 1889 Joker is just too good to not talk about. The only downside is that I wish we had seen more of him. And at number 9, we've got Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew. Alright, let's take a look at one that's super adorable. So Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew was a short-lived series that DC pumped out in 1982 after their group of furry superheroes made an appearance in the new Teen Titans number 16. It features a series of side characters that resemble some of our favorite DC heroes, such as Batmouse, Wonder Wabbit, and Aquaduck. So of course Batmouse needs a nemesis fitting of his animal exterior in this world too. Meet the Porker. He's everything you would imagine him to be. Literally, he is just a pig dressed up as the Joker. With hair. But A for effort, guys. And number 8 is Amalgam Comics. So back in 1996, DC and Marvel worked on a combined publication called Amalgam Comics. If you've ever heard of the Dark Claw character that was a combination of Batman and Wolverine, this is where it came from. It didn't last long though, but it did include a few fascinating versions of fan favorites that managed to gain a bit of a cult following over the years. So, meet the Hyena. He's an amalgamation of the Joker, Harley Quinn, and Marvel's Sabretooth, which makes sense since his nemesis is Logan Wayne, aka Darkclaw. He has the ability to rapidly regenerate and heal his injuries, and was a part of the Weapon X program, which was an attempt at creating living weapons. Sound familiar? Anyway, according to Marvel, Amalgam Comics is known as Earth 9602, but DC has never actually mentioned what Earth this universe takes place on in their universe, so it's safe to say that the Hyena likely won't be making any return appearances anytime soon. Up next at number 7, we've got Batman Bloodstorm. In 1994's Bloodstorm, we have a Joker who takes over a group of vampires after their leader, Dracula, dies. What a boss. So of course he faces off against Batman in this one, but Batman has been turned to a vampire. Plus he also takes on Selina Kyle, who is a werecat version of herself. Yeah. They manage to defeat Joker and his bloodthirsty minions, but not without killing Selina in the process, which causes Batman to suck the Joker's blood. Out of grief, of course. But then he stakes the Joker so he can't come back as a vampire. But the Joker forced Bats to kill, so who's the real winner in this one? I'll let you guys decide. Up next, number 6, we've got Thrill Killer and Thrill Killer 62. So this one's actually pretty cool. Another Elseworlds addition to the DC universe taking place on Earth 37, Thrill Killer was a miniseries in 1997 that was set in the 1960s. The Joker in this one is a female version named Bianca Steeplechase, and she is oh so sapphic. Really. But she's just as evil. Her crimes in this one include poisoning Robin, torturing Bruce Wayne, and pretending to be the mayor's wife. She also has a thing for Harley Quinn, because what Joker wouldn't? And at number 5, we've got Batman Beyond. So if you guys are fans of DC's animated universe, you probably really dug Batman Beyond. Personally, at times I thought Terry was a tad annoying, but overall Bruce Timm and Paul Dini really killed it with this show. Anyway, the Joker makes an appearance in the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker film, where we also get a flashback to the Joker fighting Bruce Wayne's Batman. Barbara Gordon, now retired, tells Terry, our new Batman, about how Batman and Joker's fight went down, and why Bruce believed him to be dead. After forcing Batman to watch a home video that he made of him torturing Tim Drake's Robin, he also turns Tim Drake into a miniature junior Joker, and Batman loses his shit. Anyway, back in Terry's timeline, the Joker claims to have returned 35 years later, leading a gang called Jokers, spelt with a Z. Turns out it's Tim Drake who can transform into a clone of the Joker via a secretly implanted microchip, as one does. At number 4, we've got Martha Wayne from Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. So Martha Wayne makes this list at our number 4 spot because of how messed up this one is. It occurs in the Flashpoint timeline, and if you haven't seen Flashpoint Paradox, here's how the narrative plays out. So Bruce Wayne's origin story doesn't go down the same way it normally does. In this timeline, it's Bruce who's shot dead, not his parents. Seeing Bruce die in front of her took a toll on Martha's sanity, and she ends up becoming the Joker. I mean, look at that face. That's a face of someone who is really not okay. From here, chaos ensues and she kidnaps Harvey Dent. Luckily, Martha doesn't stay the Joker for too long as the Flash reverses the timeline by going back in time. And at number 3 is Batman Nosferatu. So get ready to geek out over this one, guys. So back in 1999, DC published Batman Nosferatu via its Elseworlds imprint, and it's part of a trilogy based on German Expressionist cinema. So if you're unfamiliar with what that is, it's a movement that occurred from before World War I up until the 1920s, and it's a modernist movement dealing with subjective perspectives that sometimes distort reality in order to evoke emotional responses. Anyway, in this one-shot, the Joker appears as the Laughing Man, a demented cyborg patient of Dr. Arkham's, who, by the way, holds psychomantic seances for the entertainment of the wealthy people living in Metropolis. So the Laughing Man tries to kill Bruce Wayne and is the reason why he actually becomes Batman, or rather Nosferatu. Try that on as an origin story. Also, can we just bring up the fact that this might be the most horrific the Joker has ever looked? pretty terrifying. Definitely check this one out, guys, and make sure to give the other two parts of the trilogy a go: Superman's Metropolis and Wonder Woman's The Blue Amazon. The art is absolutely spectacular. At our number 2 spot, we've got The Dark Knight Strikes Again. Coming at you from Earth 31, The Dark Knight Strikes Again is the follow-up to Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, and this time, a new Joker picks up the mantle. While The Dark Knight Strikes Again doesn't quite live up to its predecessor, it did provide readers with a pretty twisted version of the Joker, in the form of Dick Grayson. At first, a complete mystery man, this Joker goes around killing off old superheroes like Martian Manhunter. Why, Dick, why? Well, because Lex Luthor has spent years conducting radical gene therapy on him and wants him to end Batman's superhero revolution. It's a pretty decent reason. Which is totally cool with Grayson because Batman actually fired him years and years ago and he's still a little sensitive about it. But come on, man, leave Carrie Kelly alone. She's so cool. And finally, at our number 1 spot, we've got The Dark Knight Returns. Frank Miller's iconic The Dark Knight Returns occurs on Earth 31 and contains one of the most vivid portrayals of the Joker to date. It's beautiful and tragic and just the right amount of sick. Awakening from a catatonic state, the Joker appears to be reformed, with a team of doctors gloating to the media about his rehabilitation. But this doesn't last too long. The Joker appears on a television show and kills everyone in the studio in an attempt to lure Batman to him. What unravels over the course of this narrative has greatly inspired many of the Batman comics post-1986 that you now know and love, and cements the twisted relationship the Joker and Bat share. After battling it out in the Tunnel of Love at a carnival, Batman fractures the Joker's neck, but refuses to kill him, so the Joker commits suicide, inevitably framing Batman for the murder, in some of the most impactful panels in comic book history. While the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns may not be seen as that alternative of a version of the one on Earth 1, it's hard to deny that Miller's version of the Joker is one of the most influential Jokers ever crafted. And yeah, I'm a little bit biased because it's my favorite, although I gotta say Scott Snyder's New 52 Joker is a close second. Starting off this list with a bit of fun, our number 10 spot goes to Lego Joker. Voiced by Zach Galifianakis, this Joker is a tad more sensitive than some of the other versions on this list. The whole plot of the Lego Batman movie actually starts off with Bats hurting the Joker's feelings. How? Well, he tells him he's not as important in his life as he thinks he is. And at number 9 we have Pirate Joker. We touched on his pirate Batman counterpart on one of our top 10 alternate Batman lists, but let's take a look at Bat's foe, the Laughing Man. He's a sadistic pirate who tries to get Capitana Felina, aka Catwoman, to seduce Captain Leatherwing, aka Batman. The two eventually have a confrontation where Laughing Man kills Robin, or rather Robin Redblade, when he jumps in front of Leatherwing and takes a bullet for him. And Leatherwing then stabs the Laughing Man and nails his body to the mast of his ship, so very piratey of him. Up next at number 8 we have All-Star Joker. This one's from Frank Miller and Jim Lee's All-Star Batman and Robin, and he first appeared in issue number 8. He's introduced in a scene in a hotel room where he's having sex with a woman named Donna. After they finish, he strangles her to death, all while professing his love to her. Doesn't really seem that romantic to me. Aside from Bruce bullying the crap out of Dick Grayson the entire time through this comic, this one has also been pretty popular online by having a couple of artists transform the Joker into what's known as the Yakuza Joker. Give it a Google, people, it's pretty cool. Miller has also stated that All-Star is in the same continuity as The Dark Knight Returns, which retroactively was clarified by DC, stating that all Frank Miller's Batman works are in the same continuity. And at 7 we have Tim Burton's Joker. Who doesn't love Jack Nicholson? Burton's 1989 film briefly explored the Joker's origin, giving us some backstory on a criminal named Jack Napier, who was the man responsible for killing Thomas and Martha Wayne when he and his partner robbed the family that fateful night. This backstory connection made the relationship between Bats and the Clown Prince even more nefarious. And a morbid fact for you all, when Nicholson had heard that Heath Ledger had died after playing the Joker, the actor hinted in an interview that he had warned Ledger, ambiguously stating, "I told him so." And at 6 we have the Joker from the Batman animated series. Voiced by the amazing Mark Hamill, this Joker is a huge fan favorite, especially for those of you who grew up watching the series. He starts out as a gang leader that stages his first robbery at the Ace Chemical plant, where he first encounters Batman and falls into a drainage vat of chemical waste. He remains on as Batman's main nemesis throughout the whole series and its spin-offs. While this one is technically the same Joker that we featured on our last list in Batman Beyond, it's arguable that his appearance in the show helped solidify the Joker as one of the most notorious fictional villains in mainstream pop culture. And at 5 we have Red Hood of Earth 23 from Batman the Brave and the Bold. On Earth 23, the man who was supposed to become the Joker didn't. Instead, he got married. But he didn't live happily ever after. When his wife and unborn child die, he becomes a vigilante who goes after that Earth's Owlman, who tosses him into a vat of chemicals, disfiguring him into his usual Joker appearance, smile and everything. But already having experienced immense grief, Red Hood decides to take on the Injustice Syndicate and Owlman for good, and fails, but manages to escape, eventually meeting Batman disguised as Owlman, and the two end up working together. And at 4 we have the Arkhamverse Joker. So yes, this one isn't really an alternate, but a lot of you guys want to see him on this part 2 list, so I had to include him. Another Joker voiced by Mark Hamill, and Troy Baker in the Origins game, this Joker gets real intense. For those unfamiliar, the first game, Arkham Asylum, starts off with the Joker taking over the asylum and kidnapping Commissioner Gordon. Later on, he injects himself with some Titan, which is scary as f. And no spoilers, but the ending of Arkham City is, well, it gave me chills. Have you guys played the Arkham games? Which one is your favorite? And at 3 we have the Jokester of Earth 3. Here we have a Joker who isn't evil. So on Earth 3 there's an alternate Batman called Owlman, similar to the one that we mentioned before but different Earth, who is basically a villainous and the Joker? Well, he's the good guy, a dude named Jack, going by the name of the Jokester. He was a struggling comedian at a comedy club called The Last Laugh, but after being made fun of, he decides to target Owlman with his jokes, making him a bit of a hero amongst the people of Gotham who were tired of Owlman's reign of terror. Owlman doesn't dig this though. He murders Jack's manager Harley Quinn and slices open Jack's mouth, so he becomes the Jokester, determined to get vengeance on Owlman. Guess owls are d***s. And at number 2 we have the 1960s Joker. Played by Cesar Romero in both the series and the 1996 film alongside Adam West's Batman, this Joker is just as campy as West's Batman, in a lovable way of course. Some of his weapons include a joy buzzer, which is like a joke buzzer that you'd wear on your hand, except the Jokers would shock people and knock them out. Isn't really that funny of a joke. And a joke flower, which looked like an ordinary water spray joke flower, except this one sometimes sprayed out knockout gas. There's a theme here, I'm feeling. And fun fact, Cesar Romero refused to shave his mustache off for the role, so the makeup department would have to cover it up, and it's pretty noticeable in some close-ups. And finally in our number 1 spot we have Heath Ledger's Joker from the Dark Knight 2008 film. We had to wrap up our top 10 list with this one, guys. The Joker is no easy character to portray. Looking at you, Jared Leto. And when Heath Ledger was announced to be taking on the role in Chris Nolan's follow-up Batman film, a lot of people weren't really into the idea, but then they saw his performance. Holy sh**. Ledger took so much of what makes the Joker a phenomenal villain and crafted a unique version of the character that kept us all on the edges of our seats. And at 10 we've got the Injustice Joker. This one makes the list not for differentiating from the original character of the Joker, but rather for being part of a timeline where he seriously stirred up pot. So in this one, Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane, who was pregnant with their child. Upon realizing this, Superman punches a hole in his chest, and Batman's all like, whoa dude, murder is not cool, this is bad. This event sets forward a series of actions that leads Superman to becoming a fascist ruler over the timeline. Way to go, Joker, way to go. And at 9 we have Duela Dent of the New 52. So this one's cheating a tad, since she's not really actually the Joker. She's the Joker's daughter. Sort of. So during the New 52, after the death of the family story arc, the internet got all hyped up about a character who DC was promoting as the Joker's daughter. Turns out she wasn't so much. She was just a girl who had taken up similar tactics as the Joker and started calling herself the Joker's daughter. She lived in the Gotham sewers where she finds the Joker's cut off face and wears it as a mask. Yeah. Got some issues there. And at 8 we have the Ami-Kami Joker. This Joker is also known as Duela Dent, but appeared in the Ami-Kami series that was based on the anime-inspired figures from DC Collectibles. It's a world where only females have superpowers, which includes both the heroes and the villains. Duela is the female version of the Joker in this world, and her father? Gamblin' Jack the Joker Dent. And at number 7 we have Earth 9 Joker. A Tangent Comics imprint, the Earth 9 Joker is part of a more realistic world that has been greatly affected by the presence of superheroes. The Joker in this one is actually a female hero who uses comical tactics to mock her enemies, especially Superman, who once again is an evil tyrant in this alternate universe. And it's not just one female hero, there's actually 3 of them who take up the persona of the Joker, and they all take turns wearing the costume. One of them is eventually captured and tortured by Superman, and ends up revealing the other 3 Jokers' identities. And at number 6 we have the Earth 2 Joker, a post-52 story. Here we have the Joker in a more vulnerable state. He's a frail elderly man, bound to a wheelchair due to his lifelong exposure to chemicals. He can't even manage to laugh without hurting himself, but he's still up to his usual trouble. He tries to kill hunters with a joy buzzer, but it backfires, and ultimately electrocutes himself instead. And at 5 we have the Batman Two-Faces Joker. The 1998 Batman Two-Faces is a batified version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Taking place in the Victorian era, Bruce Wayne is hunting down a serial killer named the Joker, whose MO is preying on prostitutes. So he's basically Jack the Ripper, except he carves smiles into his victims' faces. And like the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, turns out it's Bats who's the serial killer. He drinks a potion that gives him superhuman strength and also creates the Joker's alter ego, which as you can imagine really upsets him, so much so that he jumps off a building. And at 4 we have Digital Justice. This one's pretty cool, guys. Created by Pepe Moreno in 1990, Digital Justice is set in a futuristic Gotham in the 21st century that's operated by technology, which takes place long after the original Batman has died. James Gordon's grandson of the same name is a detective at the GCPD at the time, and takes up the cape and cowl as Batman in order to rid the city of a sentient computer virus that was crafted by the Joker before he died. Joker virus? Pretty neat, but probably wouldn't want to know what it could do to your laptop. Probably terrible things. In at 3 is the Batman Judge Dredd Joker. In this one, the Joker is a member of the Dark Judges, who he helped free in exchange for immortality. Not a bad deal, right? Nah. His spirit was merged into a corpse, which is why he looks like this. He became Judge Joker, who could kill people with his laugh, causing their heads to explode. Yikes. And at 2 we have Speeding Bullets Joker. A Lex Luthor Joker? Yeah, that's as aesthetically appealing as you'd imagine him to be. So this 1993 Elseworlds comic features Kal-El being raised by Thomas and Martha Wayne, and he's named Bruce. His opponent? Lex Luthor, except a version of Lex who is the victim of a chemical accident that drives him insane. You can make the correlation there. And at our number 1 spot, the Future's End Joker. Let's finish off this list with a super bad version of the Joker. Here we have a character who's part android, with the Joker's head attached to the body, and Batman's head attached to the back of his head. Created by Frankenstein for the brother Eyes, this one is known as the Bat Joker and also the Joker Borg. His purpose? To attack and kill Terry McGinnis and forever preserve the existence of the End Future, an alternate future for the Earth Zero timeline. Cyborg assassins for the win.